Hare Krishna. No, I don't need. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yashomati Nandana Brajavarunagara, Yashomati Nandana Brajavarunagara, Gokula Ranjana Kanha,
Janakana,
Gokula Ranjana Kanha,
Janakana,
Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara,
Viparanadhana, Madana Mohana,
Kaliya Damana Vidhan
Kaliya Kamana Vidhana
Amala Harinam Ami Abhilash
Ami Avilasa
Jai Vipina Purandara Navina Nagarvara
Vipina Purana Dhara Navina Nagara Param
Vanshi Vadana Tuvad
Vamshi Tuva
Vanshi Vadana Tuvad Rajajana Palana Asura Kulanashana
Jana Palana Surakulanasana
Rajajana Palana Asura Kulanashana
Rajajana Palana Shukakulanashana
Nanda Godhana Rakhovala
Nanda Godana Rakovala
Nanda Godhana Rakhovala
Nanda Godana Rakovala
No. Govinda Madhava, no? Govinda Madhava Navanita Tatskara
Govinda Madhava Navinita Taskara
Nanda Godhana Rakhwada Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara
Govinda Madhava Navinita Taskara
Sundarananda Gopala
Narananda Gopala
Sundarananda Gopala
Narananda Gopala
Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara 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 Bhakti Vinoda Shray
Bhakti Vinodana
Bhakti Vinoda Shray
Bhakti Vinodaya
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol
Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol
Gau Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Everybody knows Bhajahure Man. Bhajahure Manam Shri Nandanandana Abhay Sharanarvindare
Mana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charanarvindare
Bhajahure Manam Shri Nandanandana Bhai Charanarvindare
Jahure Mana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charanarvindare
Bhajahure Mana Shri Nandanandana Bhai Charanarvindare
Bhajahure Mana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charanarvindare
Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange
Manava Janama Satsange
Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange
Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange
Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange
Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange
Tarhoe Bhavasindhare
Tarahoe Bhava Sindhure
Tarhoe Bhavasindhare
Tarahoe Bhava Sindhure
Abhaya Charanarvindare
Abhaya Charanarvindare
Abhaya Charanarvindare
Abhaya Charanarvindare
Bhajahure Mana Sri Nandanandana Abhay charanarvindare.
Bhajahure mana Vinodana Abhaya charanarvindare.
Shita atapa bata parishana edina jamini jagire.
Atmapavattaparishana Pijamini jagire.
Shita atapa bata parishana edina jamini jagire.
Hitatapa pataparishana Pijamini jagire.
Edina jamini jagire.
Edina jamini jagire.
Sitaya tapabata parishana edina jamini jagire.
Sita atapa pataparishana Edina jamini jagire.
Vipali se vinu kripana durjana.
Devinu kripana durjana.
Vipali se vinu kripana durjana. Vipale se vino kripana durjana.
Vipale se vino kripana durjana.
Chapala sukhala bhala vire.
Chapala sukhala bhala gire.
Chapala sukhala bhala gire.
Chapala sukhala bhala gire.
Abhay charanarvindare.
Abhaya charanarvindare.
Abhay charanarvindare.
Abhaya charanarvindare.
Bhajahure mana Srinandanandana Bhai charanarvindare.
Abhaya hure mana Srinandanana Abhaya charanarvindare.
Bhajahure mana Srinandanandana Bhai charanarvindare.
Bhajahure mana Srinandanana Abhaya charanarvindare.
Edhana jobana putra parijana ithe ki ache parati tire.
Edhana yobana putra parijana ithe ki ache parati tire.
Edhina jobana putra parijana ithe ki ache parati tire.
Edhana yobana putra parijana ithe ki ache parati tire.
Ithe ki ache parati tire.
Ithe ki ache parati tire.
Kamala dala jala jivana tala mala.
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 Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala
Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala
Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala
Jala Jala Jivana Talamala
Bhajahu Hari Parani Tire
Jau Hari Padani Tire
Bhajahu Hari Parani Tire
Jau Hari Padani Tire
Abhay Charanara Vindure
Abhaya Charanara Vindare
Abhay Charanara Vindure
Abhaya Charanara Vindare
Bhajahure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhay Charanara Vindure
Bhajahure Mana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare
Bhajahure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhay Charanara Vindure
Bhajahure Mana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare
Sravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare
Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare
Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare
Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare
Pada Sevana Dasyare
Sevana Dasyare
Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Jana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Jana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Jana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Atmani Vedana
Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Jana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana
Govinda Dasaya Bhilashare
Govinda Dasa Vilashare
Govinda Dasaya Bhilashare
Govinda Dasa Vilashare
Govinda Dasaya Bhilashare
Vilashare
Govinda Dasa Govinda Dasa Bhilashare Govinda Dasa Bhilashare
Govinda Dasa Vilashare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Krishna 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 Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Govinda Dasa Vilash Re.
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 Abhaya Charanara Vindare.
Abhaya Charanara Vindare.
Abhaya Charanara Vindare.
Abhaya Charanara Vindare.
Bhajahure Mana Srinanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare.
Gauraure Mana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare.
Urlabhamanava Janama Satsange. Durlabhamanava Janama Satsange.
Durlabhamanava Janama Satsange.
Durlabhamanava Janama Satsange.
Durlabhamanava Janama Satsange.
Taraho e bhava sindhure.
Taravoi Bhava Sindhure.
Taraho e bhava sindhure.
Taravoi Bhava Sindhure.
Govinda Dataya Bhilashure.
Govinda Dasa Bhilashure.
Govinda Dataya Bhilashure.
Govinda Dasa Bhilashure.
Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari.
Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari.
Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari.
Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Abha Girivaradhari.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandan Rajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandan Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandan Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana 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 Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Sto Shri Srimad Srila Vaishnava Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Thakur Haridas ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Devi ki jai. Yaman Amai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Rani ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtana ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. ISKCON BBT Samsthapak Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Should I sit here? Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Madgavirapi Gopala Stvikuryat Kripaya Yadi Tadaivasam Bhayaha Pitva Hrishyayustat Priyajanaha. I thought tonight we're all familiar with Krishna consciousness, I think, right? Everybody here is initiated mostly, or many of them at least. But everybody knows about chanting Hare Krishna. Everybody comes to the temple. We know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We know that we're interested in devotion, pure devotional service to the Lord. So I thought it would be nice, because we don't read this book very often, Narada Bhakti Sutra. Actually, Narada Muni is our foremost authority about devotional service, because he's what number in line of our Guru Parampara? Three, number 3, yeah. Brahma Sampradaya, he comes third. And who is his disciple? Vyasadeva, yes. And everything comes from Vyas. So it's actually coming from Narada Muni. And here he's defining and explaining the value of devotional service. So if we're interested in devotional service, we can understand directly from him. Now, this is an interesting book because Srila Prabhupada began translating this book when someone showed it to him, way back, I think, in 2nd Avenue in the early days. And Srila Prabhupada got as far as the first 15 sutras, and then he decided that there's nothing here really that's not described in the other books, Srimad-Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, mainstream Shastras. So he kind of gave it up, and it was later finished by his disciples, Gopi Pranadhana Prabhu and Satsarup Maharaj and others, and published here. So I'm just going to read the first several sutras here. How many people have read this book or have heard anything of it? How many people have not even heard of this book before? Yeah, a lot of people not even familiar with it. We have so many sutras, right? We have Griha Sutras, we have Dharma Sutras, we have the Mimamsa Sutras, we have Vedanta Sutras. These are the Bhakti Sutras. And naturally, Narada Muni, as the foremost Bhakta, at least for us, he's the authority. He's the proper person to write a book on what is Bhakti. And Sutra means, yeah, small little code, pithy little, just few words, not even a full verse, that defines or makes your point. So let's hear what he says. He says, first of all, Atato Bhakti Vyakhyasyamaha. Usually these sutras begin with Atato, whatever the topic is, and then we'll discuss that. So that's what he's saying here. Now, therefore, I'll try to explain the process of devotional service. And then he says, Satvasmin Parama Prema Rupa. Devotional service manifests as the most elevated, pure love for God. Yeah. You can say Parama Prema Rupa means pure love of God, but you can also say it means the form of the supreme love, however you want to look at it. Right? What did I just say? Yeah. Okay. Sutra 3, he says, Amrita Swarupacha. This pure love of God is eternal. And Yallabdha Puman Siddho Bhavati Amrito Bhavati Tripto Bhavati. Upon achieving that stage of transcendental devotional service and pure love of Godhead, a person becomes perfect, immortal, and peaceful. One time, Srila Prabhupada was in a class. Somebody next to him just tapped him on the shoulder and asked, "Can you clarify what he just said?" the speaker. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was a good distance away, and he saw this short exchange. And he asked the person, he asked Prabhupada actually, "Would you like to come up and give the class?" So I'm being merciful. But Prabhupada usually did not like any kind of disturbance in the Bhagavatam classes, any class. He didn't like anybody to be doing anything except listening with rapt attention. Even he didn't like them to be stringing HEB flowers into a flower garland and, making that little noise. He didn't even like that. He just liked them to really be focused. So focus. What is focus? How do you say focus in Sanskrit? Anybody know? Focus. Huh? Ekatma, yeah, maybe. Ekagrachitta, yeah, we can say like that. What else? Ekagrata, you said, right? How about dhyana? What does dhyana mean? Yeah, meditation. Think about the sun. Dashashatakaradhari kalmashat bhangsakari. The sun's rays the sun's rays are considered to be his thousands of hands. Every little kirtana is one of the thousands of arms of the supreme light in this world, the sun god. Sheshateja, burning in the sky since time immemorial, never runs out of energy. Talk about sustainable energy. That's why he's considered to be a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why we revere him as Surya Bhagavan. That's why the Gayatri Mantra meditates on that potency and how it represents the spiritual potency also. Sun God. So, Dashashatakaradhari, with his thousands of hands, I want to say dispersed throughout the sky. He's lighting up this whole world. Now, if you take all those dispersed kirtanas, or hands of the supreme light of the universe, the sun god, and you bring them all together into one point through a magnifying glass, then that becomes so much more powerful, right? Because it's no longer dispersed. With that power, you can burn a hole in some paper. Everybody does this experiment when they were in school. You can burn down half of the state of California. And it happens every year pretty much nowadays. Whether it's set by vandals or whatever, we don't really know. But I mean, several movie stars lost their homes just recently because of this. So that's power. That's the power of focus. So we are supposed to focus like this, dhyana. All right, so he says, upon achieving that stage of transcendental devotional service, a person becomes perfect, immortal, and peaceful. How would you like to be perfect? No? Huh? Yeah, I think so. We'd all like to be perfect at whatever it is that we're aspiring for. Immortal. Raise your hand if you want to die. It can be arranged, and that's not a threat. Peaceful. Would you like to be peaceful? So, that's what he says, is the nature of devotional service. Yajñatva matto bhavati stabdho bhavati atma ramo bhavati. One who understands perfectly the process of devotional service in love of Godhead becomes intoxicated in its discharge. Sometimes he becomes stunned in ecstasy, and thus he enjoys his whole self being engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. Sa na kamayamana nirodha rupatvat. This is interesting. He then says, there's no question of lust in the execution of pure devotional service, because in it, all material activities are renounced. Is that scary? Anybody scared by that? Shall I read it again? There's no question of lust in the execution of pure devotional service, because in it, all material activities are renounced. Wait a minute. Does that mean like my car and my house in, what do you call it? Cedar something, right? Cedar Park? You know, we can talk about that, but let's hear what the purport is, because these purports in the first 15, I think, verses of this book, they were actually written by Srila Prabhupada, and we don't hear them very much. So it's really refreshing to hear what he has to say about these things. In pure devotional service, there's no question of sense gratification. Some people mistake the loving affairs between Krishna and the gopis, or cowherd girls, for activities of ordinary sense gratification. But these affairs are not lustful because there is no material contamination. As Rupa Goswami states in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.285, Prem aiva gopa ramanam kama ityagamat pratham. Idyudvadayo piyatam vanchanti bhagavat priyaha. Although the dealings of the gopis with Krishna are wrongly celebrated by many as lust, great sages and saintly persons like Uddhava hanker for such loving affairs with Krishna. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, has therefore said, Kamo premo dohakara vibhinna lakhan, loha ara hema jaiche sharupe vilakhan. As there is a difference between iron and gold, so there is a difference between material lust and Krishna's loving affairs with the gopis. That's Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 4.164. Although such loving affairs may sometimes resemble material lust, the difference is as follows. Now listen up, please. This is so important. I even gave someone the advice to recite this couplet every day because it's so helpful. This is the difference between love and lust. Atmendriya priti vancha tare bolikam Krishnendriya priti icha dhare premonam. The desire to satisfy one's own senses is called lust, while the desire to satisfy the senses of Krishna is called prema, love of Godhead. So if you're doing something for yourself, that is kama, ordinary material desire. And if you're doing even the same thing for Krishna, means you are acting under proper guidance because you have a sponsor for your soul in the form of a bona fide spiritual master, then that is no longer kama, that is prema, because it is selfless. And this is the platform on which the gopis do everything that they do for Krishna. And Krishna's reciprocation with the gopis is not because of some material qualification they may have. It's because of this qualification. They are the supremely surrendered persons at his lotus feet. That is so compelling. Even for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he cannot resist that thing. That pure love is not something that he can ignore. This is God's weakness, if you will. We were discussing this morning. He's Ajita, and nobody can conquer him by some material qualification, even if you have every material qualification, just like Lakshmi Devi has. Everything comes from her. So, but none of these qualifications can conquer the Lord as much as pure love of Godhead. And the supreme repository of such love is what? Huh? Yes, the Ahladani Shakti. Somebody here has that name, right? So then, Srimati Radharani. She is the supreme repository of love. Just like Lakshmi Devi is the supreme repository of opulence. Why do we worship Krishna? Because he's Shaktiman. So where is Krishna without Lakshmi? Not so important. But because he has that Shakti, we were saying also, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. He has all the Shaktis, Sarva Shaktis. Therefore, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Viryasya, what is it? Aishvaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashashashriya, ityadi. All strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, all wealth, all renunciation. These are just some of Lakshmi Devi's opulences. But even with all those opulences of Lakshmi Devi, she cannot conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because she's not the repository of that pure love that Srimati Radharani bestows upon everyone, including her. Just as Narayana, according to the Srimad-Bhagavatam and bona fide acharyas, is the expansion of Lord Krishna, so in exactly the same way, Lakshmi and all of her various incarnations, such as Sita and Bhudevi and others, they're just expansions from Srimati Radharani. This information we gain from which scripture describes these things? Huh? Brahma Samhita. Good. Where are you from? Andhra. Naturally. Now, I like to tell them, because I spend a lot of time in Southwest India, and I like to remind them that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not import this philosophy. It's not a dogma coming from West Bengal, cooked up in the fertile imaginations of lusty sentimentalists, better known as Sahajiyas. No, it's coming from Brahma Samhita. And where did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu get this Brahma Samhita from? Not Ananta Padmanabha Swami, not Kerala either, technically. Who knows it? Tiruvattara, the Adi Keshava Swami temple, very close to Kerala, but still in Tamil Nadu. And he looks a lot like Ananta Shayana Swami. He's another Ananta Shayana Swami, but he's Adi Keshava Paramar. So That means that this book, at least 500 years ago, these ideas were prevalent among the community that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu collected this Shastra from. Right? You can't argue with it. Everybody following me? Yeah, that means it's not something new. At least in the deep south of India, at least 5 centuries ago, people understood these truths because that's what Brahma Samhita discusses. We don't have time for that book. It's a whole, my gosh, how much of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta is based on that book. Very, very important book. So, kama. When we are atmendriya prita vancha, when we want something in order to please ourself. Now, what is ourself? That's another thing people don't consider too carefully. What does the word atma mean? You were doing this last night, right? Atma means what? Soul. What else? Mind. Anything else? Consciousness or? How about your material body? Is that also Atma? Yes, it is. Welcome. Yeah, please let's turn off our cell phones. I will set the example. Proof. Yeah, because it's disturbing. Atma actually can mean the body. It can also mean the mind. It can also mean the spirit self. It means yourself. But people identify as themselves so many different things. Somebody thinks I'm an aardvark. Someone else is a kita patanga. Somebody else is thinking that he's a penguin. Someone else is a human being, or I'm Telugu, or I'm American, or I'm Chinese, or whatever it is. But actually, we're only spiritual beings. Atma. Completely distinct from the gross body and completely distinct from the subtle body. But because people identify with these, therefore the word Atma sometimes is used for self-referral as well, to myself, whatever that means. So, Sarvatma Snapanam, to clean Sarvatma, all 3 of these, what is the process? Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is what we were just doing for the last half hour or so. This process brings us to Krishna consciousness. This process allows us to see through the sham of our stupid desires that lead us on and on and on and on and on and on and on, ad nauseum, throughout this world, in various species of life, various incarnations, various planetary systems, various universes even, endlessly, vainly, fruitlessly, shamelessly trying to exploit the property of the Supreme Lord while simultaneously trying to evade his authority. This is what we do. This is in 2 things. It's described in Sanskrit literature. It's called bhoga or tyaga, or we can say bhukti or mukti. We're either trying to exploit the Lord's assets or we're trying to run away from his representatives. This is how it usually plays out. Because we're actually very selfish, and why are we so selfish like that? And why are we so ignorant and so convinced that we should try to grab as much of the Supreme Lord's things as we can? Why is that? There's only one possible motive here: envy. It is envy. No, sense gratification is the product. That's the process. But the motivation is only one: envy. This is our disease. Hridroga kama. And it takes the shape of this heart disease, as we say. The heart is impure because it's full of so many mundane kamas. So pungsam kalikratan doshan dravya deshatma sambhavan sarvan harati chittasto bhagavan purushottama. This is in 11th canto, and we find a similar verse in the 1st canto, 2nd chapter. Krishna is here explaining to Uddhava that all the flaws of this Kali Yuga that keep us down and keep us miserable and frustrated and, just drowning in our own anarthas, as it were, all these things can be taken away if we honestly and sincerely chant the Lord's holy names and hear his glories. That's what unveils our real consciousness, our now dormant but eternal consciousness of pure love for Godhead. The same love that these gopis have, we can also have, if we so choose. So this is the distinction between ordinary kama, which is compared to which metal? Ordinary material kama. Iron. Yeah, not so attractive. Strong, yeah, just like our desires. Very strong, but not very beautiful. Gold, on the other hand, is compared to prema. Prema. And pure love of Godhead, as we're discussing, it's not only gold, but it's like fragrant gold. You ever heard that? Srila Prabhupada said, you know, this is, and sometimes we can criticize the Creator that He's created such a beautiful thing as gold, but it's not quite perfect. It would be perfect if it was fragrant also. Imagine gold that smells like sandalwood. That's really pakka. So anyway, this is the difference between prema and nam. I'll read it again because it bears repeating. Atmendriya priti vancha tare boli kam. Krishnendriya priti ichha dhare prema nam. Very beautifully, succinctly stated by A. Shh. Yeah, you. Chup. Okay. So, impersonalists cannot understand the principle of satisfying Krishna senses because, hey, I just told you. Is it him? I think so. Somebody's making noise here. All right, everybody please try to focus. Impersonalists cannot appreciate, they cannot understand the principle of satisfying Krishna senses because they reject the personality of Godhead. Now, why would someone reject the personality of Godhead? This is another question. Just like, you know, what is it that motivates us to chase after material desires? Envy. Why would you reject the personality of Godhead who's perfect in every respect? Why would you reject him? Okay, yeah, but it's really what is it that affects that last snare of Maya? What causes that? There's a motive coming from us. What is it? It's envy again, the same thing. Whether you try to escape spiritual personality through impersonal philosophy, or whether you try to exploit this material world through neglecting the personality of Godhead, it's the same thing. One of them is bhoga, the other one is tyaga. That's the only difference. But they're both motivated by envy, and therefore they are both in a diseased condition, spiritual disease. And the impersonalists cannot appreciate anything about the Lord's energies in general. Shankaracharya just says, you know, this Jagan Mithya is just an illusion. He tries to just dismiss the whole thing as an illusion because he can't accommodate it. Even the material energy, what to speak of the spiritual energy. But the Vaishnavas appreciate the Lord along with his energy. He is not complete without his energy. We don't like to worship Krishna alone because Krishna is not alone. He's surrounded. Nanda Maharaj is there. Yashomati Maya is there. The gopis are all there. His cowherd boyfriends are there. The cows are also there. The peacocks are there. Yamuna Devi is there. Tulsi Rani is there. Everything. This is pure devotional service. We appreciate the value of personality, and an impersonalist does not do so. So the impersonalist has to sit and meditate on a candle flame and try to satisfy himself in that way, and it never works. You might have noticed it. Anybody here was following some impersonal path before? Krishna consciousness, you know. You can't just be here now forever. Because be here now means, you know, be miserable forever. Because we're not in a comfortable state now. We're in a bodily concept of life. We're embracing diversity. We're embracing variety. We are embracing personality, but it's a false one. Because you have no other choice. You cannot sit inactive forever. You have to do something. So bhakti means you take your mundane senses and you, under proper guidance, you employ them in the service of the Supreme Lord who controls those senses ultimately. And that's called bhakti. when we wake up in the morning, we offer prayer to thank the Supreme Lord, because just like I said this morning, the source of your paycheck is not the same thing as the source of your maintenance. So the ringing on your alarm clock is also not the thing that wakes you up in the morning. It is Paramatma. Because if you're supposed to sleep at that time, that no alarm clock is going to help you. It'll sleep right through it. So, Hrishikeshena yatvaya yad yad karayasi shana tat karomi tavagyaya. My dear Lord, Hrishikesh, thank you for waking me up. We pray. And whatever you desire me to do, that I will do by your mercy, if you empower me. He controls our senses. People, anybody here have trouble controlling your senses? You don't have to raise your hand. Just like this is one of them, right? Kama, lust. The word is used here, lust. It's a general term, means desire, but lust is a specific kind of material desire involving, one of your senses or more of your senses. But, people have trouble with this also, no? So if you're having trouble controlling your senses, give up. Don't try anymore. Let Hrishikesha do so. Then you will be successful, perfect. Yatra yogeshwaro Krishna, yatra partho dhanurdharaha tatra shrir, vichayo, bhutir, dhruva, nitir matim mama. Yeah. So bhakti means you take your senses, you employ them out of your own volition. That much you always have. You always have your own volition. What am I going to do? You can make a choice, always. You make that choice that I'm not going to engage my senses in X, I'm going to engage my senses in Y. And then you get purified, if you're working under proper guidance of a bona fide guru. So, what is the whole verse? Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatpadatvena nirmalam. Yes, one definition of bhakti. Take your senses, they may be mundane in the beginning, that's okay, but you engage them under proper sponsorship, and they will be purified by that engagement. And that engagement has two side effects. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam, one thing. All the ugly stuff goes away, including this, we're talking about lust and other material desires and illusions and bad habits and misconceptions and doubts and, offenses and all this stuff that is injurious to us and which causes us to suffer. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and hearing about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'll give you another shloka I mentioned already. Shrinvatam Sukata Krishna Hridayantasto Hyabhadrani. Yeah. These things are called abhadras, inauspicious things, and they haunt us. Bhukti mukti, sprihayavat pishachi hridi varsate. Like a witch that haunts our heart. We have the desire for mukti and the desire for bhukti, these two things. But if we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then these things are all taken out. Vidhunoti. Abhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. If we're honest and if we're sincere. We just have to be sincere. Two things. If you look through Srila Prabhupada's letters, you'll find he uses these adjectives quite a bit. Well, really, they're adverbs. He says you have to be serious and sincere. How do you be sincere? Huh? Somebody asked this question to Prabhupada. Do you know what he said? Be sincere. Everybody, you're either serious or you're not. Serious and sincere. You want to get something done, you will do it. And the fact is that everything that we really want, we do it. Correct? Nobody fails to do what they really want. That is a fact. So, as I said, we always have our volition. It's always under our control. We can always do whatever we want with it. What do you want? Why are you here? What do you really want out of life? What are you doing with your time? Prabhupada went to one place in California in the late 1960s. Actually, it was some kind of hippie commune, and many of the people were just walking around without any clothes on also. And there was one man in such a state. He's in the garden picking potatoes. And Prabhupada saw him and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm picking potatoes." And Prabhupada said, "No, I mean, what are you doing with your life?" We don't know what we're doing half the time. We're on autopilot. That means Maya has taken complete control of us, and that's exactly why Rupa Goswami says, Pishachi hridi vartate. Like a ghost haunting us. A ghost takes over somebody, they don't know what they're doing. They're not even, the lights are on, but nobody's home, right? You've heard the phrase. So this is our condition in the material world. How does Krishna say this in Bhagavad-gita? Prakritehe kriyamanani. Some people know it, some people don't. You have to read Prabhupada's books. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunaihe karmani sarvashaha. All actions in this world, they're impelled by these three modes of material nature. Whatever they poke us to do, and like an elephant, there's a little ankush, right? Hey, I told you already. Like an elephant, you can poke him with the ankush, and he's going to go anywhere you want him to go if you're trained. Not just anybody can do that. Sometimes they kill people. I've seen it. So, yeah, but we're like that. We have the capacity to control our senses, but only by Krishna's grace, because he's actually the only one. He will empower us to control our senses when we offer our senses to him in devotional service. Then it becomes very easy. That's why Ara kabe nitai chand karuna koibe. What is the next line? Sangsara vasanamoy kabe tuchahabe. All my material attachments and desires and aspirations and illusions and entanglements, it will all become insignificant when I get the mercy of Lord Nityananda upon my head. All we really need is mercy. When that mercy, mukam koroti vachalam pongam lankhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam, or another version is Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram, or Paramananda Madhavam. Either way, it all comes by divine grace. So this is the bhakti process, and by this process, our senses become purified, just like if you take an iron rod, back to the iron gold stuff, right? You have an iron rod, keep it in the forge for a long time. It gets orange, then it gets, bright yellow, then it gets white hot. Then if you throw it onto a dry hillside in California, it has the same effect as a magnifying glass, right? Same potency. It's fire, but it's not fire. In exactly this way, our senses, our bodies, our minds, everything at our disposal. If we engage these things in Krishna service, which we can choose to do, then they cease to be material. I mean, they're always going to be temporary and material, but they act like spiritual, act like spirit. It's like a deity in the temple. Everybody knows deity in the temple is marble, but the deity in the temple is not marble at the same time. You see? So this body can become like that. That's called tatparatva. Tatparatva nirmalam. So sarvopadhi vinirnamuktam. We become free from all the illusions, and tatparatvena nirmalam. We become as pure as the Supreme by the grace of the Supreme. This is the point. Hrishikesha sevanam bhaktiruttama, or bhaktiruchyate. This is bhakti. So this is what's being presented here. And impersonalists cannot appreciate this. There are, to say that Prabhupada says here, the impersonalists think that God has no senses and therefore no sense gratification or satisfaction. But the devotees simply want to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord, and so they take part in the pure activities of love of Godhead. We may be cooking payasam for our families, and everybody's happy for a little while. And, but of course, it drives up your cholesterol and ultimately leads to problems. But you can take the same payasam you offered to Krishna, and you can do so for 50 years, and he's not going to have any problem. And instead, you feel so much same happiness if you love him. If you love him. So the real thing is develop this love for Krishna. How do you do that? Same thing. Once you become sarvopati vinirmukta, then you also become tatparata nirmalat. You become as pure as he is, and then you can reciprocate with him on his level. To the point that one pure devotee prayed, very beautiful verse. What does he say? Dvijastrinam bhakte mriduni vidurane vrajagavam dadhi kshire sakyo spotachipita moshtao muraripo yashodayastanye vrajayuvadi datte madhunite yatha sidamodas tam imam upahare pikurutam. Anybody here ever offer foodstuffs to Krishna? Raise your hand if you sometimes offer things to Krishna. Good. Yeah, you're all Krishna conscious. So Rupa Goswami says, this is a prayer that he has inherited. 500 years ago, this prayer was ancient. So who knows how old it is? But he included this verse in his anthology, which is called Padyavali. The devotee is praying that just as, my dear Lord, just as you took pleasure in the offerings that were presented to you by the Yajnik Brahmana's wives. Remember that story? That Krishna and Balaram were playing nearby and their friends were hungry, and because Krishna wants to serve his devotees, because in love, we said this morning, both sides are equal. We're just as important to Krishna as he is to us. So Krishna made it his point, since he's free, he has nothing else to do. Natasya karyam karanam shavidyate. He made it his point to satisfy his friends. So he went to the Yajnik Brahmins and he asked them for something to eat. They all refused. We're doing important yajnas. Get out of here. Go play somewhere else. Just like we told the kids to stop making noise here. So, but then the Yajnik Brahmins' wives, they said, oh, they're hungry? Okay, sure, no problem. They took some things they were cooking and they gave. That's love. So just as you accepted those offerings, Dvijastrinam bhakte mridini virurane vrishagavam, and as in the house of your friend Vidura, what did Vidura offer Krishna? Banana peels, not the bananas. He was so ecstatic, he accidentally offered the peels. Duryodhanako bhoganakayo rukhasaga vidura karikayo. You understand? Kayo, not kaya. In Braj, everything is O. So, and just as you took the milk from the cows of Vrindavan, anyone ever had cow's milk in Vrindavan? Yeah, full, rich. Once I was in Nandagaon. I went with Shyam Sundar Prabhu from Houston. He used to be the temple president there. So we went to the Pujari's house there in Nandagaon, and he had his wife give us some prasadam. What kind of prasadam? Bada laddu, hot milk, and hot ki roti. Brajvasi ke hath se. That's considered to be a great blessing if you can receive such things. So this is the pure milk of Vrindavan. These cows are giving their milk out of love. They have that love for Krishna. They're all mothers, cows. Rajagavam. Dadhi kshire sakyuhu spotichipeta mushtao muraripo. Muraripu, just as you also accepted the chipped rice in the clenched fist of your friend. Who's that friend? Sudama Vipra, poor Brahmin. And Yashodaya stanye, and you drank from the breast of Mother Yashoda. You drank from the breast of Putana also, right? But very different, isn't it? He knew. She didn't know. He knew. He says, Pishachi Amma, why are you feeding me this poison? So, but Mother Yashoda, that's understood, pure love for Krishna. And he's very, very, we know the whole Damodar pastime that we celebrate every year is coming only from this. He's so attached to her love. And Vraja Yuvati Datte Madhunite, and the sweets that were offered to you by the young girls of Braja. I'll leave that to your imagination. So, Yathasid amodas tam imam upahare pikurudam. He says, you accept this offering also from me. And Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. If you offer me something with love, I will accept it. Ashnami. Not I will accept it, I do accept it. Present tense. So it means it's going on. People who love Krishna and feed Krishna, he will eat from their hands. So this is our great benefit. So the Mayavadis cannot understand this. They have no clue about these things. But pure as devotees simply want to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord, and so they take part in the pure activities of love of Godhead. We give him laddus. So I was once in the airport. I think it was in Delhi. And, I carry the deity with me everywhere I go in a small bag, Lord in the box. And so there's one guard police person, he says, show me what's in the box. So I opened up the box. I told him that, Bhagavan Sogai Hain, don't disturb. And then he told me very arrogantly, he said, no, God doesn't sleep. He doesn't know he does sleep. He cries even. Yes, he has a heart. What does he say about this? Suhridam sarvabhutanam. I love everybody closer than anyone else does. That's what he says. What's the peace formula? Dhyana. No, Jnana, sorry. Your name is Jnana, right? What's the peace formula? Do you know this? Samanvita knows it. Where is she? Abhoktaram yangyatabasam. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suhridam. Yeah. So if you understand these three things, Prabhupada said, you will be peaceful. But Narada Muni has already told us, somebody who becomes a pure devotee becomes peaceful, perfect, and what's the other one? Immortal, yes. So Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. You have to understand, he's the supreme controller, Prabhu. Nobody can pull anything on him. He's in charge, he's in control, he's aware of everything. He's supreme controller. You can't wiggle around him. That's the first thing. And he's also the supreme, what? Bhoktaram Yagitapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, the Supreme Lord of all universes, everywhere, whole creation, he's got it covered. And Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, he's the most concerned lover and most affectionate, as it were, parent for all living beings. This is the God that we worship. And we can please his senses because his senses are only there for us to please. On an impersonal level, he doesn't require senses, but for the exchange of love, they're absolutely required, absolutely indispensable. And this is what the impersonalists cannot understand. Anyway, I don't want to get, well, we can just finish. It's not very long purport. What is the time now? And what time should I stop? Oh, okay, so we'll finish. Here, Prabhupada writes, lust leads to fruitive activity for sense gratification. We've already described this, right? He's calling it lust. What did I call it? Envy. Same thing. That's what motivates us in this world. All of our fruitive activities and all of our sense gratification, we're not thinking selflessly like these gopis. There's always something in it for us. We always put something south. So there are different kinds of duties for the human being, such as political obligations, performance of Vedic rituals, obligations for maintaining the body, social formalities and conventions, but all such activities are directed towards satisfying one's own senses, right? We do these things because this is what makes life nice. Now, why do we live life in the first place? To enjoy ourselves. That's what it means to be a conditioned soul. The gopis, however, simply wanted to satisfy Krishna's senses, and thus they completely gave up the conventional path of social restriction, not caring for their relatives or the chastisement of their husbands. They gave up everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, showing their strong attachment to Krishna to be as spotless as washed white cloth. It is said that when conjugal affection between a lover and beloved comes to the point of being destroyed and yet is not destroyed, such a relationship is pure love or prema. Have you got this? Everybody got this? What does it mean? Somebody could please explain it for me.
Every possibility that we can be separated, but they will not, because it's an unconditional.
Yeah, in other words, when there's every reason to terminate the relationship and you still don't do it, that's love. That's real love. That kind of love Srimati Radharani has. Shall I give you an example? No? Yes, okay. Ashla Shiva Paradatam Pinashtamam Adarshanat Marmahatam Krotuva Yathata Havada Viratatu Lampato Mat Prananathas to Saivanaparaha. After Krishna went away to Mathura, several of Srimati Radharani's close friends came to her and said, look, you know, she's waiting every day for him to come back. He's not coming back. And they told her so also. They said, look, you know, he's not the best character. He's not the highest character. And you're not the only one also. They're telling like this, gopis. Because in the spiritual world, the gopis are actually more concerned about Srimati Radharani than they are about Krishna. And that pleases Krishna. Because remember, Krishna's only concern with love is to please the devotees. So whoever's the best devotee, he wants to please that person. Even if it means that those people are blaspheming him, he likes it. So they're coming and they're criticizing Krishna to Srimati Radharani, and she's agreeing with them because after all, it can't be denied. She said, yeah, I know. And what does she call him? The L word. Lampada. It's pretty strong. It's a pretty strong word. He's a debauchee. He's a rascal. I know that's him, but Firbi, Ashlishyava Paradatam Pinashtumam, he can crush me by his embrace. Adarshanat Marnamahatam Korotuva, or he can dash my most cherished hopes, totally kill them. He can do that. He's a rascal, and a rascal by nature will do anything and everything. I know this is him, but you expected the but has to come sooner or later here. Syade tat parantu. Mat prananatas tu sevanaparaha. Still, he's my only Lord of my life, and there can be no other. This is love. This is real love. Gopis have this love. And Krishna only apparently mistreats them in order to show us what is the real character of love. Because our conception of love is, if you don't meet the terms of the prenuptial agreement, then I'm out of here. That's love in the material world, correct? Yeah, and sometimes it's even worse than that. Sometimes Prabhupada writes in a first canto purport, these so-called love affairs, they end in ghastly murder scenes. Hey, so anyway, that's why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, this kind of so-called love, this is iron. And the Radharani's love, that's gold, pure gold, not even 22 karat, my friends, 24 karat gold. Okay, so molten gold, tapta kanchana gold. Yes. You know, somebody sent me a picture of Radha Kund, and it was taken around the time of sunset, and all the thousands of ripples in that water, everything was just like, it was like a whole kund full of molten gold. This is Radharani. Her love is like that. So it is said that when, we were saying this. This is pure prem. In the material world, it is not possible to find this kind of love. We said the other day, was it here that I told you the story about Caracas, Venezuela? No? Okay, let me tell you. When Srila Prabhupada was spreading Krishna consciousness by about 1975, he saw that his movement was pretty well established worldwide on every major continent. So that year when he toured the world, Shrutakirti was one of my neighbors in Vrindavan, and he was Prabhupada's personal servant. He said that he was traveling with Prabhupada at that time. He said when Prabhupada arrived in Caracas, Venezuela, what did he find in the ISKCON temple there? So many Venezuelans chanting and dancing in ecstasy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Prabhupada is looking, and he's seeing Gaurnitai standing on the altar smiling, and all the devotees with their arms upraised, chanting and smiling. Just nothing but bliss, wave after wave of Hladini Shakti. And Prabhupada saw this miracle transpire before his eyes. And he became ecstatic, and tears shot from his eyes. When I say tears shot from his eyes, I mean exactly that. They didn't stream down his face. They shot out as if from a syringe. Imagine Holi in Vrindavan, we celebrate Pichakari, you shoot people with it. Like that. Shrutakirti told me, I was 4 or 5 feet away from Prabhupada, and he got drenched by the tears that were forcefully shooting out of his eyes, like as if from a hose. Do you find anybody cry like that for anyone else in this world? No, you don't. It's not over yet. The devotees were so stunned to see this that everybody just became quiet, and Prabhupada was also, we don't know where he was. But after some time, Prabhupada came to external consciousness, and he said, just continue kirtan. Then a few weeks later, they came to the United States, and they went to Atlanta, Georgia. Anybody been there? We talked about Alpharetta the other day. So, we have ISKCON Temple, Ponce de Leon Avenue. And Prabhupada came there, and again, he saw the same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. And he saw this time all American Vaishnavas, all chanting and dancing, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And Prabhupada was so overwhelmed. He looked at Gaurnitai, he looked at these Vaishnavas, and he tried to give an arrival address as he normally does. And he said, he sang the song from Lochan Das Thakur, you know the song, Parama Karuna, Pahun Dvijan, Nitai Gaurachandra, Shabavatar, Sar Shiromani, Kebol Ananda Kanda. Means there's nobody more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nitai. And Prabhupada was describing this, and he said there's nobody can be more merciful. And Prabhupada just lost it. And he became, again, so emotional. The same thing happened, tears flowing from his eyes, shooting from his eyes. He just broke down and could not continue to speak. That was the end. Shrutakirti, I mean, the point is that Prabhupada was witnessing the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread like a tidal wave all around the world. And it's still going on. We're all sitting here because we've been washed up by the tidal wave of that love of God that Prabhupada introduced here in the Western world. And, the thing is that we can't speculate, but Srila Prabhupada must have, can you imagine the emotion he must have felt? Witnessing this Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and realizing that he was the conduit of that mercy, that he was the agent, through the only possible agent through which that mercy was flowing worldwide. What does that do to your heart? How does that? This is why the tears are coming like as if from a syringe. This is love, and we don't experience this, but we can hear about it, and when we read about it in the Shastras, we think this is Hindu mythology, sectarian hagiography. But had we not seen it, then we would continue to think like that. But if you see a person like Prabhupada, I saw him in just a few weeks, well, it was the year after that actually, in Los Angeles. When he walked into the room, it was as if the sun god walked in and he just illumined everything. Just as if, I don't know, it was not material illumination, but it was illumination nonetheless. And I don't know how to explain it. You have to experience it, I guess. But he came into the temple room and he just illuminated everything as if, you know, it looked like they were the TV lights or something, you know, just everything bright. And I instantly understood that this person is not of this material world. He's not of this realm. He's coming from a transcendental platform. Instantly, I could understand that. So stunned was I by Prabhupada's demeanor that even though I understood the words to this song that we sang earlier, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, when Prabhupada started to sing it, I couldn't follow. I just forgot everything except for him. Just transfixed, mesmerized, as it were, by his incomparable, unprecedented, the experience of seeing such a personality. And what to speak of the love that he possessed and the love that he, on occasion, expressed in those ways that I've described now. So this is the Gopi Bhava that we're talking about. This high platform of love in which there's no selfish consideration whatsoever. How can you do the things that Srila Prabhupada did if there was any tinge of selfish consideration? Not possible. You all know his biography, I think. So this is the sentiment between the gopis and Krishna was so strong that it could not be destroyed under any circumstances, and Krishna praises the gopis' pure love in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Napadaye ham niravadya sayujam swasadu krityam vibudhayushapi vaha ya ma bhajan durjaya geha shrinkhalaha samvrishya tadvaha pratiyatu sadhuna. Famous verse. And I'll finish up now. Krishna tells them, my dear gopis, I'm not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within the lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond approach, beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties, which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. So Narada Muni is trying to tell us here in this particular sutra, 7th sutra of the Narada Bhakti Sutra, don't think that this is ordinary affairs between boys and girls like we see in the material world. This love between Krishna and his gopis is completely on a transcendental platform. It's like nothing we have ever experienced, but it is something that we can experience. We just have to choose to experience that. And we've said for the 3rd time now, I'll repeat, we do that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare. It is a deceptively simple process. It is so easy and so simple, but it's very, very deep, deep beyond the comprehension of most people. So anyway, this is divine love. The whole book is about this. As I said, Prabhupada has translated the first 15 sutras, and then the rest of it was finished by his disciples, Satsvarup Goswami and also Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu. All right, so I'm going to stop here, but if anybody has any comments or any questions, we can discuss as time allows. We have a few minutes. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the class. I have a quick question, Prabhu. Like you said, we should be satisfying Krishna's senses instead of satisfying our senses. But there is also a thing about like Krishna is fully satisfied, So how do we satisfy someone who is already fully satisfied?
Love. That's what he says, right? He doesn't eat just the laddus that you offer or the payasam. He does eat it, but what he really wants is the love. That's what he eats. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami. I accept the love. I also eat the others, but it's the love. This is the thing. That's missing everywhere else. Only you have that love. Only you can give him that love, and only you can give the kind of love that you have. This is another thing. We said this previously. Bharat Muni equates lovers, two lovers. They are equal. And, oh, yeah, somebody has to inform them that's not going to work. So, now I've lost my train of thought. Huh? Yeah, Bharat Muni says that in matters of love, that the lover and the beloved, they're equal. You know, the distinction between the supremacy of Krishna and the lowliness, if you will, of ourselves, that disappears when love is concerned. So we can love Krishna, and Krishna values that love, and he accepts that love, but we have to give it to him. And are we doing that? That's why we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because this Mahamantra purifies all the ugly things from our hearts. And once we're purified and liberated by that process, then we can really begin to process love and really embrace that ideal and make advancement on this transcendental science, very deep science of love of Godhead. Whole book Rupa Goswami has written. What's it called? The Complete Science of Bhakti Yoga. What is that book called? Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. It's like an ocean of the nectarean rasa that bhakti provides. And every kind of taste is available in that ocean. We're considered to be like the fish that are swimming in that ocean. There are all different kinds of creatures in the ocean. Each of them has its own thing, right? The devotees are like that. Mayavadis can never begin to appreciate this because all they want is flat, right? Flat world. They don't want to accommodate transcendental variety, which means there's no scope for emotion, there's no scope for the exchange of service or love, you see? So yeah, we give our love to Krishna, that's the point. No, he doesn't need anything. It's not a question of need. What he needs is love. And you have a particular, every one of you has a particular flavor of love that no one else has. That is your value, and it is eternal. That Narada Muni has already said that. Amrita Swarupa. That's why Krishna is willing to chase you down into this world as well, in the form of Paramatma, in the form of his devotees, in the form of these books, in the form of persons like Srila Prabhupada, who work on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Why do you think we come in contact with this process if Krishna is not missing us? Anything else?
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you for wonderful class again. So my question is like, the lust is more attractive because it is satisfying my senses.
You said what?
Lust is more attractive because it is satisfying my senses.
Okay. For now.
Now, yeah. So love is another senses. So in this conditional state, to satisfy Krishna's senses is very tough because of my conditioning.
Yeah. It's just like when your alarm clock goes off in the morning and Paramatma alerts you to the fact that your alarm is ringing. Then, you know, you have to get up. And you know that you have to get up. You also know that you don't want to get up. But, you know, you have things to do and you have a real life and you have to get back to it. And, you know, it's like that. Yeah, it's difficult. In the beginning, bhakti is an austerity. That's just because we're so covered. We're so conditioned. But we do have our real life waiting for us. And we've been away for some time now. And, you know, how can Krishna sit by idly? That is a real love. We have given him also every reason to just give up on us and forget about us forever. Such rascals we have been. Think of all the dastardly things that, you know, we've all done. And still, he's not giving up. He continues to send his representatives. He continues to make sure that you come in contact. You know, I can tell you a story. One devotee, he was in Krishna consciousness, neophyte devotee. And after some time, he fell down because after all, if you look at the stats in Bhagavad-gita, what are they? What are the statistics? Manushyanam sahasreshu ityadi. Yeah, 1 in a million people who attempt this will actually make it. That's just, you know, these are the stats. And Krishna admits it up front, no secrets. So this person left Krishna consciousness, but no matter what he tried to do, he kept finding that he was reminded of Krishna, as if, you know, fortuitously or you know, just one synchronicity after another was reminding him of his eternal constitutional position. He couldn't get away from it. So he came back. There's another story I can tell you about my godbrother, if you have a moment. Rameshwar. Maybe I'm not supposed to mention his name, but he was so powerful. In the 1970s, he was Mr. BBT, pretty much. Everything that was happening with the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust to establish it in English here in America, it was his doing. And he was so important service he was doing, and Prabhupada depended on him so much. So, you know, somehow or other, he prematurely became a guru because none of us was very mature when Prabhupada left the world. And he couldn't really handle that responsibility. And, you know, maybe I don't know what happened, but he left Krishna consciousness. He rejoined his father's business. He became very entangled in the business world and spent many years outside, actually. So one time he was in a Chinese restaurant with his family members, a totally mundane event. When you go to a Chinese restaurant, what do they give you at the end? They give you a fortune cookie, right? So he opened his fortune cookie, and everybody had theirs, and everybody opened it. When it came time for him to open his, he was stunned, and he dropped it. And everybody's looking at him because he turned as white as a ghost. And they said, well, what happened? He said he read the piece of paper. It said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. Those of you who know the story, it makes sense, but I will give the backstory. Prabhupada pushed Rameshwar so much when he was in charge of the BBT, particularly in 1974, when he wanted to publish his Chaitanya Charitamrita. He asked them, how many volumes are we able to produce in what amount of time? And they said, Prabhupada, we can come out with 1 volume per month. That's what we generally do. And Prabhupada said, okay, I have 17 volumes. I'm far ahead of you, and I want you to publish them in 2 months. And Radha Vallabha, who was the press manager working under Rameshwar, Prabhupada, that's impossible. And Prabhupada turned around. He looked him straight in the eye, planted his cane in the sand, and said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. And so many years later, when he was contemplating to return to ISKCON somehow, but he was little, you know, because maranarati richyate, if you've been honored, then dishonor is worse than death. He was afraid to come back. How can I do that? And, you know, then he saw this thing. Impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. Can you imagine? That's love, and that's Krishna. So Krishna will not let you go once you've all chanted here tonight. You're finished. No matter what you try to do, you're not going to get away. He's going to keep chasing you because that's love. Isn't that the love that you really want? Think about that. Yes. So, you know, just park your anarthas and, you know, give up your stupidity and just embrace it, and you will see the results. Tears can shoot from your eyes in the same way. Why not? Impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Yes.
wonderful class. One quick question. If for this mention the desire to satisfy one's own senses is called lust, while the desire to satisfy the senses of Krishna is called prema. So where can we draw the line, or where can we have the distinction between the two?
Yeah, because we sometimes deceive ourselves, don't we? You've noticed. So that's why we have gurus. That's why we have the association of devotees. You know, we may be thinking that we're just like so advanced and, you know, everybody should worship me and, you know, I have so much love of Godhead, but then the guru steps on your false ego in the form of very harsh language. From time to time, it's his duty to do that. And that's really, it's a manifestation of Krishna's mercy. Is it comfortable? No. But it's what we need to really purify ourselves, because no pain, no gain. My Sanskrit professor at UW told me this. Yeah, we need that. And the association of devotees has a similar effect because, oh my gosh, believe you me, God brothers are much better at criticizing us, I think, than the spiritual master even. I saw a bumper sticker, my Lord, I love you, but save me from your devotees. So yeah, this is why we embrace this association, because it's understood that our anarthas will not stand for very long if we're in strong association. That is the definition of strong association. Anartha nivritti syat. You know, sadhu sanghe, bhajana kriyase, anartha nivritti syat. Okay. Anything else? From the ladies' side, nobody said anything. No? Then we'll stop here. Okay, one. Hey, a third time I've said.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful class, Prabhu. So my question is, how do we make sure that familiarity breeds contempt, right? Like so much of association, we are getting chanting, books, but sometimes we take it for granted.
Where is it? Nobody back there can locate it? Oh, upstairs. Okay, yeah. Kindly inform them of the policy. You know, Bhaktivedanta Swami is so strict, right? If you go to one of his programs, there's a sign on the door. No cell phones allowed. It's like you know, Tirupati or something. You have to check your phone. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I was asking, we have so much of devotee association, chanting, books, temple become.
Oh my God, everything is handed to us on a plate.
Yeah, so what if, like sometimes we take it for granted. So how do we?
Sometimes? Yeah, this is our problem. We you know, that's why, you know, Radhanath Swami, very often he talks about gratitude. So important, no? We really have to appreciate what's been done for us. It's not just happening by chance, my friends. Somebody worked hard to make this for you. Who is that? At least Prabhupada, but many others also. You have to show some gratitude and wake up and realize. Varan prapyana bodhata, right? Utishtada jagratha, the Shruti mantra says. Everything has been done for us. It's handed to us. We're being spoon-fed. And still we're thinking, oh, it's just like way over the top difficult. We're so, you know, just rascals. That's what it is. I don't know you, sorry. Nothing personal. But yeah, we know it's very helpful to, and again, in the association of devotees, you know, we will be reminded of, you know, all these things. It's not going to happen otherwise. If we dissociate or if we're lax even in our association, you know, we will not really come to appreciate the urgency of our situation, the great mercy that we've already been given, and, you know, the very clear steps that we have to take actually to further elevate ourselves to the point of perfection. Narada Muni talks about this later on in this very same book. He's talking that the association of great souls can be attained, but only by the Lord's mercy. One can attain bhakti either by the association of the Lord's pure devotees or directly by the Lord's mercy, because the Lord and his pure devotees are non-different. Tadeva sadhyatam, tadeva sadhyatam. This is a sutra. Sutra means you want to abbreviate. Is he abbreviating here? No, he says it twice because it's that important. Tadeva sadhyatam means only aspire for that thing. Tadeva sadhyatam. Here it says, strive only for the association of pure devotees. Pray for it. That's what Lord Shiva does in chapter 4, Canto 4, chapter 24. What's that chapter called? Yeah, Rudra Gita. You know where this was spoken? I told the Satyasara this morning. This was spoken, this Rudra Gita was recited by Lord Shiva to the Prachetas at Guruvayur. If we accept the Namutri's, assertion that this is described so in the Guru Pavana Pura Mahatmyam of the Narada Purana, or maybe Naradiya Purana, because there's two of them. But yeah, the story is that that's where the Prachetas went, and you all know the story of Guruvayur, I think, at least many of you do. So this was happening there. And Lord Shiva was praying that your real mercy will be if I can get the association of your pure devotees. We should pray for it. You're not going to get anything you don't ask for, right? Nothing's free. So, we should pray for that association, and moreover, we should pray to appreciate that association, because as you said, it's too easy, through familiarity to discount the importance of the people that we're sitting next to. Wait until you find yourself bereft of that association. Then you appreciate, yes, Zurur. When you don't have that association, then you really appreciate what a great jewel I had and I squandered it. That's why Vidyapati says, karma vipake gatagati punaha punaha. Time after time after time, I keep blowing it. Mati rahutva parasange. This time, at least, let me become Krishna conscious. Yeah, don't mess up again. Don't lose another opportunity, because no guarantee that we'll be human beings again. There's really no guarantee. It's hoped for. Somebody told me this morning that if you worship Jagannath, you'll be a human being, and that's why all the South Indians have Jagannath in their houses. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, anyway, to take advantage. You take advantage of what your spiritual master has given you. Shri Guru Charane Rati Eshe Uttamagati. Why did Prabhupada ask us to chant this every day? They don't do it every day in Gaudiya Math, right? Do you know this? They do it once a year only. But Prabhupada told us to do it every single day, because he knows we need to pound it into these dull brains so that we finally get it one day and wake up and realize what a jewel is in our hand. Everything, 99% of the way. Consider 8,400,000 species of life that you could be occupying right now. You've come to a human species after many births. Janmasa durlabhamidam bahusam bhavante. And not only have you come to the human form of life, you've taken birth in Bharatvarsha, most of you. And not only in Bharatvarsha, which means you have some idea of dharma. Even if it's the wrong idea, you have any idea, which is better than other people. And you've come into the association of pure devotees. You have even embraced the process to whatever degree you have. You're 99% of the way there. Now imagine if you blow it at this point. What a loss that is. And who can be blamed for it? Only us. Because we failed to appreciate the treasure that we had. Touchstone. That's why that story is there, Sanatana Goswami. He threw away the touchstone. Anyway, is that helping? Okay. All right. Anything else? Otherwise,
Thank you, Prabhu. That was a beautiful answer.
okay.
Any more questions?
All glory to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful ecstatic kirtan. You have taken us to Golok Vrindavan for a moment with your wonderful